Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm again back with a very interesting topic from my book, The Power of Self-Talk. And today I'm going to talk about a topic called jealousy. By the time this video will end, you will understand what exactly is the meaning of jealousy, whether it is helping us or it is creating more problem for us, and what we can do so that we can lead a fulfilling life without feeling jealous about anything around us. Let me start with a very interesting story. The story is of Mahatma Buddha. Once he was invited by a king to his palace. When Mahatma Buddha and his fellow members were going towards the palace, they found a beggar who was on the roadside, and he was praising so much about the king, and he was always wishing that the king should grow even further. So when the Mahatma Buddha reached there, he was welcomed with a lot of different things. And when he was served the food, as per the tradition, he has to say certain things about the food. So when he started talking about it, rather than praising the king, he praised that beggar whom he met on the road. Everyone was surprised that why it is so that rather than praising the king who is doing everything, why Mahatma Buddha is praising that beggar. So at that time, Mahatma Buddha said that it is very easy if you are doing well that we can praise that person and that person can also feel good about themselves. But think about that beggar. That beggar does not have anything. But in spite of that, that beggar is still wishing good for the king and still giving a lot of wishes to the king to move it further. So that is called the real thing in life. In fact, when we talk about the Buddhist concept, there's a word called mudit. It means that when we are happy with the success of other people. And that exactly the moral of this particular story, that when we are happy for others, at that time there is no scope for any jealousy. But when we are competing with others, at that time there is a very high possibility that we are always jealous of others. And something similar happens in our life too. There's a very interesting statement called by Mahatma Buddha. He said, "It is not love that is blind, but jealousy." And something happens in our day to day life too. What happens in our day to day life? We are always wanting to add of someone. We want to have better increment. We want to have a better salary with other person. We want to have a better house or car. Maybe we want to get the more recognition than the other person. When we are getting it, we feel empowered. But when we are not getting it, we feel that other person is better than us. And then we have a lot of jealousy in our mind. But we need to understand that why it is happening. If we have a good virtue about doing something, why is it so that we are always comparing with the other person? Because when we start comparing, now the problem starts. Then we think that that person is successful. As we say that that person is successful, it means some other person is not successful. And it is very interesting to see that that starts very early in the family, when maybe out of the two children it is said that you love this child more than that, or maybe when some friends feel that why one person has become monitor of the class and why not me, so the competition starts from there. Jiddu Krishnamurti said a very interesting thing. He said to live without comparison is to remove a tremendous burden. And as I said earlier, that all this jealousy, all the seeds of the jealousy starts very early in our life, in our childhood. It could be as simple as that maybe a child is focusing to become number one in the class, but then maybe the result come now is not first, is number five. Now, number one is considered to be the best. And when we say number one is successful, it means all the other child, including that child who got fifth position in the class, it means that child is a failure. And then slowly and steadily this competition starts. And what we don't realize at that time is that the more we are in competition with each other, we are not focusing on our capability. We are not focusing on what best we can deliver. We are just focusing on that we need to be just little ahead of that person who is ahead of me. And at that time, what happens that in general, we are not focusing on our capability. We are not focusing on our values. Say, for example, I have a value of honesty. I have a value of always saying the truth. I have a value of speaking my mind. But rather than talking about those values as success, we consider success when we are ahead of someone. And when we are ahead of someone, only then we say that we have done something. And if you have not done something, then it is considered to be a failure. It has been very rightly said that they are not jealous of what you have, they are jealous of what they can't have. So it brings a very interesting question. Should not we compete with others? Should not we see that what other people are doing? Should not we go ahead of others? Certainly, it's very important to see the good thing in others. Certainly, it is important to understand that what others are doing, what I am not doing it. But after understanding that, we need to see what is my capacity, what I can do the best, and then I challenge myself. And when we challenge ourselves, when we are focusing only on ourselves, then we can do miracles. We can do something which even we can't think about it. You must have seen in the cricket match MS Dhoni when he was the captain. Maybe there may be very difficult situation when we are sure that we are going to lose the match, but still at that time his focus was not on the other team. His focus on was himself and his team. That what are the positives they are having and how that can be played. And when he's focusing on that, we have seen there are so many results where there are such results have come which we never had imagined that. And if you look into the recent Paris Olympics 2024, there was an incident when there was a athlete who was almost on the verge of winning the race, but then he thought that he has reached and he stopped. And at that time, there was an athlete on the back. He just pushed that athlete so that that athlete can cross the line. When the pressman asked him that why he did that, he could have won himself by going ahead. He said that no, it was not my win, it was his win. Even if I had won that competition or maybe the gold, that would not have been the right thing. So, what does it mean? It means that when we are successful, we should not be seeing it in comparison to others. We need to see in comparison to what I have done. So, as I said in the beginning about the Buddhist concept of mudit, that when we start feeling happy about others, when we start feeling good about the success of others, that is a time that we are not in competition with each other. We are not thinking that I need to get ahead of that. We are always focusing on that, what I can do it, what I have achieved. Can I go little about that? And then that becomes the real success because there is no jealousy and there is only happiness and bliss at that particular time. Well, it has been very rightly said by Paulo Coelho. He said that never hate jealous people. They are jealous because they think you are better than them. My dear friend, if I talk about myself, at times it happens that I also feel jealous about people, about situations, about the positions, maybe car and so many things. But then I always tell that I need to see what I am doing and what best I can do. I always try to give the best blessing to people who are doing wonderful. I am challenging myself to become better. What you are doing. I'm looking for your feedback. Thank you.